The most powerful thing you can do for yourself is to become the safe person you once needed. Welcome back to another exciting episode. I'm really glad you're here with me today. On today's piece, we are going to be talking about something a lot of us experience but don't always recognize. How childhood trauma can affect our relationship as adults. Before we begin, I would like to say this gently. This conversation is not about blaming your past or blaming the people who raised you. It's about understanding yourself better so you can build healthier and more meaningful relationships moving forward. Because sometimes the way we love, the way we react, the way we protect ourselves was learned long before we even understood what relationships were. When we were kids, the people around us showed us what love looked like. Not just through words, but through how they respond to our emotions, whether we felt safe, heard, and valued. And when those experiences are painful, when there is constant criticism, instability, or emotional distance, it can subtly shape how we relate with people later in life. Many adults walked into relationships carrying invisible lessons from childhood. Some people learned that love must be earned, so they became people pleasers, constantly trying to prove their worth, while others learned that love is unpredictable, and so they became anxious in relationships, always worried about being abandoned. These patterns don't mean you are difficult to love. They simply mean your mind learned certain ways to protect you, but what protected you as a child may be a barrier to you as an adult. For example, someone who grew up feeling unheard may struggle to express their needs. Someone who grew up around conflicts may become extremely sensitive to disagreements because over time their mind learned to associate disagreement with danger or rejection, having to accept that conflict leads to pain or chaos. As adults, even small disagreements can trigger that same emotional alarm. The brain becomes hyper alert, and sometimes this shows up in ways we don't immediately recognize. Sometimes we might overthink simple interactions, push people away even before they get too close, or you might stay in an unhealthy relationship because a part of you believes that's what love is supposed to feel like. An important thing to remember is being sensitive to disagreements isn't a weakness. It's often a learned survival response from earlier experiences, and that all hope is not lost. Awareness changes everything. With awareness, you can learn that healthy disagreement is normal and does not threaten connection. The moment you begin to understand where your pattern comes from, you begin to reclaim the power to change them. In relationships, healing begins with self-love and self-compassion. It begins when you start noticing your reaction instead of judging them. It begins when you allow yourself to say, maybe this fear didn't start here, and maybe this reaction has a deeper story. Slowly, you begin to replace old survival patterns with healthier ways of connecting. You learn that love doesn't have to feel like walking on eggshells. You learn that your needs matter. You learn that vulnerability, when shared with the right people, isn't weakness but courage. And perhaps one of the most powerful things you can do is to be the safe person you once needed. Because when you start treating yourself with respect, patience, and kindness, you also start choosing relationships that reflect that same energy. So if you recognize a part of yourself in this conversation, please remember this. You are not broken. You are a human being who over time has learned to survive difficult emotional experiences. And the fact that you are already here reflecting on these things means something beautiful is already happening. You are becoming more aware, more intentional, and more capable of creating the kind of relationships that bring peace instead of pain. Your past may explain some of your wounds, but it doesn't cancel your ability to heal. Until next time, be patient with your heart as it learns a new way to love and be loved.